Hi, I'm Kate.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Oh no, this doesn't bode well.
Start over.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm Kate,
And I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hannah.
and this is Feast. Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. And this is Feast.
Sheath.
And Shatter.
Is it hot in here or is it just me tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety? Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us, or is that a dagger? It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter. It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter.
Okay, so we are back. What are we talking about, Hannah?
We're talking about The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle Jensen.
Yes, which
She just had another book come out.
yeah,
too.
the
She
Fae
did.
Inked in Blood.
Yeah.
Blood Inked in Fae.
Yeah, I'm kind of...
Fae Blood.
I enjoy her as a writer, so I think I might check it
I
out.
would love to see some fantasy.
Yeah, because what we're talking about today is not a fantasy book.
Really?
It's
like
more historical fiction, but like historical fiction for a world that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
It's like
Because there's no
it's-
magic.
it's like
the
political
world-
romance.
Just snakes.
It's like an adventure.
So many snakes.
snake book.
And let's just preface this by saying Hannah chose this book.
Oh my God.
And I want her to know that when I finished ACOTAR in Crescent City, Hannah was the first person I met in the real world that also loved those books. And this was even before I found Rachel, who, I don't know if we can say she loves them, but she definitely was there for all
She was
16 of
there
them.
for it.
She was there for all
I was
16.
physically present.
Chained to the
and I was like, oh, Hannah loves fantasy, and you were a little bit ahead of me. I mean, you had read all the Maas books before I did,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, give me some other books, and this was one of the first ones you recommended, and I crushed it because it's free on Audible, so you don't have to pay for this book at all. It's free on Kindle Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going, oh, that's nice. That's nice. I like that. That was fine. And then this read through, and it might be because I already knew what was going to happen, but I allowed myself to pay attention to what I was actually feeling when I was going through it. And I found myself a little bit, there were parts, certain things that it did that I didn't enjoy as much as the first time.
Mm.
But it's still a very like easy romance,
Yeah.
politics,
Mm-hmm.
sharks,
Exciting.
Sharks, snakes. I wanted more description
Killers.
of the bridge. That was the one thing that I was like, what does it look like? Because she's just like, well, it's attached to like some pylons are made up, some pylons are islands.
I feel like I need to draw this out.
there-
Yeah.
Like,
There are pictures.
it's like a tube.
It is like I envision it like a big ol' Great Wall of China, but a square
Okay.
lifted like a train
Okay.
up on a thing, like a big stone square.
I gotcha.
Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a big, long covered bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a big, long, giant stone covered bridge. And yes, that's how
Yeah,
I
like
imagined it.
Mossy and slimy and...
Right. Because there's no
Yes.
ventilation inside.
Right.
It's one long, solid tube.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. That they put cattle in.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
cannot smell good in there.
It
It doesn't. I think we
but
learned that
they
it does
do
not
take a
smell good.
lot
No.
of pride and clean it up. I don't know if we learned that in you know what? Okay. Also, let me say,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't just read 1 and 2. I also read 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 were even more frustrating in some ways, but
Okay.
Just the
anyways.
politics, maybe. It was a lot of politics. It was very politics heavy.
Yeah.
And I listened to this one.
Did you love
did.
the
I did.
lightning?
The lightning.
The storm?
God,
And at the beginning
yes.
of every chapter?
At the beginning of every chapter.
Every single
yeah.
chapter.
And the chapters are short.
Is it the second book that has the drums?
The drums are in the
Yeah.
second book.
Yeah.
By the time they get to Karis and Zara's character, who are the second couple and the third and fourth, I think they cut out the sound effects.
They were like,
That's-
maybe
It's
this
a
The
is-
drums?
It's a little much.
Honestly, it might have been the drums. That might be the entire gripe.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to it at, I think, 2.7.
No
So
way.
it was like at the beginning of everything. Yeah, because so little.
No, wait. You
They
can actually
dropped so-
understand it
yes.
at 2.7?
Yeah.
No way.
Can,
Does it even
can
go
we
that
play it at
high?
2.7 just to... Can we pause?
He'd been blindfolded for 13 days, shackled to and occasionally gagged, but despite the persistent burn of the ropes sloughing the skin of his wrists and the foul taste of the fabric shoved in his mouth, it was the endless shadow of the blindfold that was driving on him.
Wait, can you... Yeah, it's how she reads. Can you put it on the next chapter so we can hear the drums again? Because
Yeah.
this is...
Okay, get ready.
Yeah.
Now, can you play them at the regular speed so that we can... everybody can experience them how I experience them? Hannah's mic is so close to her face. She's really struggling right now to do this. Every chapter.
Yeah, that's a lot. And we all
Every
dance.
You can do a
chapter.
full like choreographed
It's
like
long.
dance.
Yeah,
to
and the
each drum
storm was
solo.
long too.
Yeah, it was so
And some of
dang
those
dramatic.
chapters are so short. Like,
Yeah.
real
So it's
short.
just drums.
Like you
and
could
then
do
more
that
drums.
for like maybe twice throughout
Yeah.
the book.
Or maybe when we switch point of views.
Yeah.
I want to be nostalgic and take pictures.
Should we do that right this minute?
Sorry.
It's fine. Fine.
Sorry, Mom.
It's
Sorry.
fine.
Yeah.
So
So let's talk about Laura.
yeah, talk
Yeah.
about her.
I liked Laura.
Another
She's actually-
reason I wanted
she's
to do
smart.
this
Yeah.
was because I wanted to give Rachel an actual assassin.
Yes, thank you.
You know, someone who is actually can kill people.
Yeah.
And
does kill
And does
people.
kill people.
And
Yeah.
is clever.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
think there's something sometimes where a writer will write a clever character, but might not be clever enough to clever the character in the
Yes,
writing.
Yeah.
And that's not the case here. Like,
No.
it's clever.
Yeah. She's really, I liked her a lot. I liked her,
smart.
like when she gives the one lady the shits.
Yeah.
Like,
She's
okay,
like, there's
I've got
only
about 20 minutes.
there's only one way that this can go.
Yeah.
And it's straight to the outhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
The grandmother.
She's
Yeah, the grandmother.
nervy.
Nanny.
She's, yeah.
Nana, maybe?
Anna.
She's trained her whole life
Yeah.
for this.
right.
So she's not going to take any
Shits?
shits from anyone.
And she's flexible really quickly. So it takes her kind of a while to be like, wait, maybe there's a reason I was isolated and it wasn't to protect me. It was to keep me from knowing what was going on.
right.
hmm
And it doesn't take her too long to get there. It was right about where I was like, if this goes on any longer, I'm going to get frustrated. It was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, she's finally questioning what's happening. Like if we'd gone most of the book, we go a fair amount of the book, but if we'd gone any farther, it would have felt like, please, for the love of God,
Yeah.
like you're smart about everything else. Just
Like, I
Except
realize
this.
you've been brainwashed, but
yeah,
That is something that, yeah, that's a great point. It's when the reader is so far ahead of the main character that it becomes just like really challenging to
Yeah.
keep going.
yeah. And this author did a really good job of not giving us a ton. Like we see some from the king's perspective, but we don't see. Like he's not out there like kissing babies and stuff. And then she's like, he's a demon. Like we don't get the,
right.
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of learn it as she learns it,
Right.
even though we get a point of view, his point of view. So I think that works out really well.
Definitely.
When you said the king, are you talking about Arwen?
Silas.
Arryn.
Oh, you were talking about, I was like,
I was thinking about
The dad.
Silas.
the dad.
Oh no. Yeah. We don't get any. So just, I was
Because
talking about the
that's
second
true
POV
too.
character.
Like you don't really see a lot of how Silas treats his own people
Yeah.
and his own politics. You find that out with Laura.
yeah. When you find out about all the trade deal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How long do we think the sisters are dead? When I first
Not long. her first point of view, she's like, God, they're burning that down. I really hope they get out in time.
Yeah, I remember reading it the first time and being like, oh, good. You didn't kill your sisters.
Yeah.
Great.
She looks down before she leaves and sees one of them start breathing more like heavily again. So she's like, okay, they'll be good.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though
Which-
they all have burn scars. We don't find that out till the
Later.
later.
That's okay.
Darn. Well, I feel like 1 and 2 sort of flow together. So if you
Hey,
read
spoiler
one, you
alert,
probably read this
you
second
should-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead
Just
and read
like with
both.
everything
It's really
we
quick.
do.
Just listen 2.7 like
Just
Rach.
nothing but professionals around here. That's
Yeah,
us.
nothing
Yeah.
but professionals.
Nothing but
We are not
professionals.
going to spoil anything except for everything.
for everything.
We'll probably talk about a Maas book at some point, but it's
I'm
fine.
sure.
Yeah, we're doomed to.
Doomed.
Doomed to forever. Yeah, I mean, Laura is vicious and also cunning and beautiful, and she's everything you want to be in a strong woman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like from a woman, like a woman's
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
Like badass can crush someone's skull with her thighs.
Yeah.
And it's funny because she's not raised in a country that supports badass women.
No, she was secretly given feminism.
Yeah. But don't tell anyone.
But you
don't
can't
tell
tell
anybody.
anyone. And
Right.
we're going to
So-
kill everyone else because you're a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when she like first arrives in her new home and sees a woman that's a warrior, a soldier, someone, you know, in fighting leathers.
I hope they breathe.
Maybe.
I really hope
They
they,
They
have
do.
to
wear
be-
leather masks when they fight.
They
Every time
have
they
to
fight, they
have-
pull up a leather mask. And I'm like, oh my God.
So sweaty.
That must be so sweaty.
I
Because they
bet
live in
there's-
like
yeah.
a tropical jungle.
It's
too.
Yeah, I
very
hope
wet.
There's
Yeah.
a ventilation system built in.
There is.
Like the suits in Dune.
Hopefully.
Keeps you cool.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the only character that I was like, oh God, was Nana. The like cranky.
Oh, that's funny.
the
I
cranky
didn't
old
mind Nana.
fantasy grandma.
Yeah.
TM. Like the one that always shows up. The like, I know everything and I know better and I know I'm gross and I talk about sex and I shit. And like,
Yeah.
she's always the like, I'm past the point of being delicate character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I can stand her, but when she showed up, I was like, oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, I didn't mind her so much. She's just funny. Just like uninhibited
yeah.
old lady. Probably got a tad bit of like something that makes her just not hold back anything because she doesn't care.
I think she just didn't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
Yeah.
were right in the middle of everybody hates Lara.
Yeah.
And that was a hard section. Like, I always hate those sections.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's when she's like, feed the mice. Like, give the mice to my snakes. Because she's got a bunch of snakes.
Yep. There's snakes everywhere.
There's snakes everywhere.
Snakes on the plane.
It's snakes on the bridge.
Snakes on
What
the
did
bridge.
you change?
I made sure it was set for you. I think you're just quieter today.
I'm tired.
Um,
It's okay. Sometimes I'll be tired.
Yeah.
I'm just tired. I'm busy,
Mhm.
which
Well,
is
busy's
great.
good.
Life's great. I'm so busy selling this pod lab. So grateful. Hannah's selling it too. actually.
yeah.
Filled all our names in today.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm not busy doing it.
Well, I thought you were going to come hold my hand while we did it together today, but you abandoned me to go sell your ex-husband's house.
I know.
So priorities.
Mm. Gross.
At least I love the fact that he would let you list it though, so that that money can go to his baby.
Mm-hmm.
Smart, clever girl, clever man.
Yeah.
Yep. But this book, it's very political, and it's nice
Yeah.
that she is good at writing like politics. Like that's a level of world building that I think is a special set of skills.
It is.
It's not
Uh-huh.
easy to
Yeah.
do. I think she does it relatively well. I think there's parts of the world like the bridge, which is the really cool part, that she could have built out more.
Yeah.
But the interconnected micro politics
Mhm.
is really neat.
Yeah, and even including the weather and the politics, like these are the 2 months out of the year where it's safe to sail.
Right.
And so we get attacked. And then here's the 10 months out of the year that we don't. So we have
Right.
the war months and then we have the storm months.
And the successful hiding of what is the country called? What's is it Arwen?
I want to say Arendelle, but that's not right.
I think it actually is Arendelle. Because
Oh.
I was like,
It's
like in Frozen.
Herondale
Arendelle.
with an H.
Yeah.
You would know that if you listened to it.
I did listen to it.
No. Less than two. That's when the letters are enunciated.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just joshing.
I was like, Arendelle, shit. Oh, what is
Herondale,
that from?
yeah.
Yeah,
So he
Frozen.
hides
Yeah.
his people, and his people are very vicious. And we've got this young, newly appointed king who's just like his mother, and he wants to open up his kingdom's doors and boundaries so that the
Yeah.
women can leave and everybody can
Yeah.
leave and get education
And their
'Cause nobody
life
can
can be
come in and out.
more
And they've
than just fighting.
and they
Yeah.
and protecting this bridge, which has made them an incredible amount of wealth. I mean, if you hold the keys to commerce, you're going to have all the money.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you've got
but it's like they
this-
can't enjoy it because they're stuck on these little islands.
Right. And they can't do anything but, I mean, it's
They can't do
literally
anything
called
but protect.
war tides.
War
War
tides.
tides.
Like you
Yeah.
don't get tithed like Tamlin tithes.
Yeah.
Tide.
I knew
like
it
a
was.
sea.
There it is.
I thought it was tithed.
Sarah J.
Tithed.
I thought it was tides. Like the
Yeah.
ocean.
In this book, it's tides.
Like the
You
ocean.
read the words?
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, you really thought it was tithes?
Yeah, because they're tithing their time as warriors.
Oh no, it's tides.
Like instead of paying taxes, you pay with your time as
No,
a soldier.
It's like the war tide, like the tide
no,
brings
the
in.
ocean.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
it works in either way.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
deep.
I don't
Yeah.
care what you guys
It's
say.
fine. It's
Yeah.
good.
This is in my mind.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to be. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's cool. Tides. War tides.
There did get to be too many different countries after a bit. Because there was
I think
Maradrina and then there was,
Valen-
Valencia is
See.
in Maradrina.
yeah.
There's other
Valhalla.
Valhalla. There's other countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at the map, there's like, it's not that big of a continent. To be
Yeah,
honest.
it's
a little
not.
bit. I think she probably wanted to build out so that she could keep going, and she might. There's other
Yeah.
characters in these books that I wouldn't mind hearing their story.
Right.
Mhm.
Karis is actually my favorite character, and you only get a little bit of
You
him
get a tiny peek of him
in the
these.
second book, but we're not talking about the second book right now.
Right. Okay.
I was it took me a while to figure out what secret she was talking about because it was like, I have to write this down. This is a secret. But it was stuff like, oh, here's we're going to go in the bridge. Like it took me, if I had a complaint, it took me a while to figure out what was so secretive about all of the stuff she was finding out.
And it's just access to the bridge.
It's just how to get in the
Yes.
bridge.
Yeah,
Because,
It's
no one
so
knew.
secretive.
Yeah,
And
'cause-
nobody knows anything.
right.
It's like the best kept secret of all time.
Right.
It's like a button.
much like
It's like you.
much
It's
like
literally like-
Polaris.
It's literally like a flat spot on the bridge.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't have figured that
yeah,
out.
but like in the labyrinth, where
Yeah.
the little worm's like, "Hello, don't go that way. It'll take you straight to the castle."
Hello.
Hello. Did you just say hello? No, I said hello, but that's close enough. You know that part?
Yeah.
And she just like walks in, and like
Yeah.
there's this. What's it called when it?
An optical illusion.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
Yeah.
talking about. There's like optical illusions.
It did feel a
Mm-hmm.
little bit like that because she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to write this down," and you're like,
Yeah, I'm gonna
"Okay."
cut my hand and leave my blood, and you'll be able to see it with our fluorescent
Yeah,
light
we're gonna
bulbs
put
that we use.
luminol on this, and it's just
Yeah,
gonna light
she
right
said
up. I
that
was like,
basically. We've got
Yeah.
disappearing ink. That makes it fantasy.
the
Like the
disappearing
only
ink.
the only magic was the disappearing ink.
Yes.
that's-
And
there
I
you
found
go.
myself, I think I'm really narrowing down what it is that feels the most comfortable to me. And I don't want, there has to be some sort of magic. I
Yeah.
want there to be things that cannot happen
So
in
you
real
don't
life.
read any other kind of book?
I mean, I read all kinds of books. But when it comes to a book like this, I don't read any kind of other romance books.
Okay.
That is I
So-
read all kinds of books. but no other romance books.
So in order
Yeah.
to have romance,
If there's
it
gonna
has
be
to be not real.
yeah. Yes.
Something I relate to.
Yes.
like,
If it's
so
going to
much.
have like a level of intimate connection.
Yeah.
Because I
True
want
love
there.
is silly. I
Yeah,
mean,
and-
it's not real.
Right.
Except
for
for
Matt and
Matt
Rachel.
and
That's fine.
Except for the fated mates.
Fated mates to the back. And I think that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're just a fucking warrior. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love
just
the scenery of this.
yeah.
Like their
yeah.
house, the first house they're on
and
the
it's
island.
a fantasy. I mean, it is a fantasy world. It's just not
it does
fantasy
feel
in the realm of. It's like Earth adjacent,
Yeah.
Mhm.
medieval Earth adjacent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to?
Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
way to describe it.
Yeah.
With a waterfall jacuzzi.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I like that she was afraid of the water.
Yes, that was pretty.
Which makes
Yeah.
so much
so much
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
Yep. I like the big cat pet that just does what
Yep.
the hell
Yeah.
he wants to and
Kitty cat.
kind of always knows. Did you ever read Saga? Did either of y'all read Saga,
No.
the comic book
No.
or novel, graphic novel?
no.
There's a cat called Lion Cat, and I love Lion Cat. She's like the best character ever. She can tell when you're lying. Any giant cat reminds me of Lion Cat, so I was totally about that.
I do like
Cool.
the cat. And then she blames the cat for like destroying his stationery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I bumped it up to 2.7 when she was like, "Oh, should I tell him that I wrote the like secrets of his entire kingdom on the back of his stationery?"
I
No.
know.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
That kind of
Why wouldn't you just
that-
tell him immediately?
that miscommunication is always so like.
like when
But
they
that
have
shit
that
kills
moment.
people. That kind of stuff would happen in Game of Thrones too. Just like
yeah.
one little miss, and then everyone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Right? 5 more minutes, and people would have gotten out. Or it's fine. I mean, I think I'm probably gonna check out her fantasy, like
I
her
think I will
Fae
too.
series.
Yeah.
I thought that this book really. I think I requested to the ladies that we do this as both books as one pod, just because it just feels like one story. It literally just stops. I mean, but Hannah made a great point. You said you're like, what the fuck did I say? What did I say?
I
This
made a
could be
good point.
anything.
What could it be?
No, she said,
Right.
there's the betrayal at the
Yeah.
end. And so she is lying in the first book and she's her true self in the second book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Laura behind the mask still, and she has like a moment where she gets mad at Orange. She's like, "Yeah, my people are starving because of you," and he's like, "What?
I'm sorry. Are you serious right now?
Do
Yeah.
what?" And so then they
Like
go
the-
undercover. She dresses up like a boy. She rubs mud on her
Yeah, a
face.
an
and
adolescent.
they
Mouse shit, which
go-
bothered me, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm like, nope, that's
Ugh.
virus laden. No, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I guess
That's fantasy.
hantavirus doesn't
That's
exist.
fantasy.
Yeah.
That's fantasy. Too bad she didn't show up with. What are these boobos on my arms? All my lymph nodes have turned black.
Yeah.
my boobos.
Blech.
I've got legions everywhere.
I
yeah,
know.
but
So they go to her country
freaking-
undercover.
Yeah,
the
a
part
port. They go to a port.
the part where the mistress / the cool girl
Yeah.
comes over and like sits on his lap. I liked the way that dynamic played out, because it was a little bit of like, there was a little bit of that,
Yeah.
but it was still like healthy.
Yeah.
And Laura was fighting the whole time, like, why do I care?
Yeah, why
am I
jealous?
upset? Why am
Yeah.
I
Why
jealous?
do I want to rip her face off?
Yeah, why I don't want to butcher this woman.
It was good. It was
And then
like
the
real.
lady being like
Yeah.
so clever that she just immediately sees this small adolescent male's eyes,
Mhm.
puts together who she'd been sleeping with that guy. She'd been sleeping with Arn forever, knew he was a spy, but didn't know he was the king. And she
Yeah.
like has this moment. And I like those parts. I like it when there's someone smart enough to like, and then not act on it, not have to go tell
Yeah.
anybody, just be like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, and not respond
and
in
not
the moment
freak out.
and not freak out. And then have the gumption to, word I can
Yeah,
use?
the gumption.
Yeah, like the wherewithal.
Yeah.
Is that a word I can use here?
Yeah.
Do those mean similar things?
Yes.
Sundays, I am just on it. To also help her and,
Yeah.
kind of give her you got to get it together because
Yeah.
we're not doing so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love how she's so inventive with all the other names of the cities, and then the towns on the bridge are like south, middle, and north.
Right.
I
North
was like,
Watch,
you know what,
Middle
actually,
Watch,
that's really helpful. Mid-watch and then South Watch. And then
Mid Watch. Yeah.
That's-
I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It would have been hard for me to remember where they
Yeah.
are.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Geography is usually where like I can keep up with everything in a book. But then when you get to geography, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Right. I did reference the map quite frequently. And they do hook up.
They
Don't
do hook up, yeah. Because she comes out and he's like standing in the storm. Like there's like he's like
Like, when is that?
it's like from the
It's
end
when
of the
they-
Shawshank Redemption. He's like standing there with rain
Yeah.
falling on his face, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And he's deciding to trust her.
yeah.
Yeah. And then they
Yeah.
go through the eye
So-
of the storm.
Can I something that I was a little bit like, come on. The fact that they didn't realize really early on that she was drugging them.
Yeah,
And everybody got drugged. Rachel says in the text,
slept
she said-
hard last night.
Rachel said, what did you say? You were like, I'm really not a fan of somebody drugging somebody. And I was like, what are you talking about? Everybody drugs everybody. That's just like a part of the world.
Well, at the very
this
beginning,
world.
they like
Everyone's
roofie
getting
her.
melatonin. Everybody's getting
Everybody.
melatonin.
Well, at
Yep.
the very beginning, they roofie her, so she's like aware but can't remember.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And then the sister is like, "Oh well, good thing we had fun while you couldn't remember." Like it's a gross
The
moment.
low ball.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, I don't love the sister's character right now. She improves as time goes on." But
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a book later on from her, although they did kind of wrap it up, but I don't know.
is it Anna? She's Anna.
Anna.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Anna
like,
of
oh,
Arendelle?
I don't
Yeah.
really love this right now.
Princess Anna.
Anna
Of
of
Arendelle.
Yeah.
Yep. Supposed to go off and marry another prince whose mother spoiled him. Oh, that's in the third.
Hans of
book.
the Southern Isles.
Yeah.
Hans
They
of the
share each
Southern
other's
Isles.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you pass me those cheese crackers?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you need a snack break? Do you need a snack pocket moment?
Let me get out
Slide your snack pocket to the
over.
side.
Where's my phylactery to match my snack pocket?
I did miss because we read a couple of like cute, cozy mysteries, and I do miss the like over the top characters sometimes because this was a very like it was good and I really enjoyed it, but
Grounded.
it was a very like I'm the honorable warrior king who only does right by my people, and
Can you
I
hear me chewing?
no
Great.
like I do everything noble and good and kind and okay, and then Laura was very. I'm in defense of my kingdom and I'm doing what's right and that I think is right. And after a while, you're like, okay, I mean, I'm really glad, but there's no snack pockets.
Yeah, but then
The
that's
noble,
why you have Nana.
Yeah, no.
That you don't
that-
like.
Nana was still standard old lady fantasy
Okay.
lady.
that like not flawed nobleness is what drove me fucking nuts in the fourth book. And I know that we're not talking about that, but when characters are like so stubborn, it's not to the point of stupidity, it's to the point of integrity.
Yeah.
Where you can't just like let your love shine. Let your love take over. I'm not here for the politics, y'all. I'm here for the romance.
Yeah.
So get your heads out of your ass, don't do the right thing, and go bang your man. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Go bang your man.
Do
I just
it.
don't have any room for that. I don't
do
have any
it.
patience.
Like, too much conversation. Let's get to business.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
that's not why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's not why I'm
And
here.
it takes them a while. It
Yes.
takes them a long time.
A little bit.
Yeah.
For this short book.
Yeah. And then we get like one
Yeah.
scene and then we get the implication because it's like a 4-day long storm. They're like, yeah, we spent it all in bed,
All
but
in bed.
none of it was sleeping. And you're like, okay, well, I'm so glad I got one moment of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't just read for spice, but let me tell you, Does help.
It does help a lot.
If I'm reading for spice, I want spice.
But I thought the spice was good.
Yeah, it's good when it shows up. Yeah, it
It
was
was
good.
emotionally connected.
It was. I really felt it
Because they
in
wait.
my heart.
They wait until,
They love each other.
yeah. And by that point, I think, hasn't she already shot the snake?
Didn't they test her hymen?
Yes.
Did they?
I hate it when they do that.
That's why they roofied her.
Oh, that's right. They test her while she's
so that
roofied.
Nana could check her virtue. Blech.
bullshit.
Ugh,
Some bullshit.
gross.
You know what? That's one of the things I like about books that don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah,
Like, that's just not, there's never any kind of shame.
right.
I love a fantasy that just like removes any kind of sexual shame on a woman.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, because
that's
he's
a little
been
bit
around.
That's a little bit different in this
Yeah.
book, you know. I feel like this book was probably written like, I think it came out in 2018, 2017. So
I
I
don't
don't
know. I'm
know.
just surprised that they did that. That doesn't, I guess, coming
the-
from Nana,
for the
like from the
patriarchal
older,
society she comes
generation.
from, it
Yeah.
computes.
because it's not him. You know, I feel
Mhm.
like in his new world that he wants to build, he wouldn't.
Well,
be
and
wouldn't
if
checking
you don't have
people.
science, you can't.
Yeah,
There's no way to tell whose baby it is, so you have to. Like, that makes sense. Like, if you don't know how
Yeah.
to DNA test somebody's child
That's true.
for like
Paternity.
paternity test, yeah, there's no way to control it other than that.
Mhm.
Although
So-
she has a contraceptive tonic.
Yeah, everyone does.
A
Where's
year's
his
supply.
I'm also not accepting men not having contraceptive tonics
Where's
anymore.
his tonic?
Where's his rune?
His barren room.
His barren rune.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
It's just, this isn't the fantasy world I want to live in.
Yeah, it's not. It's
I mean,
not.
I do think I think it's an enjoyable read.
I like the setting.
They're quick.
I like
Mm-hmm.
the visuals we get.
Yeah.
You know, the different places. We're not often in, you know, jungle and desert. And
Yeah,
so that was fun.
it was fun.
Yeah, the whole bridge concept is really interesting. Like
I
a
feel like
kingdom that
it's-
exists only as a
It's
transport.
kind of
Yes.
unique.
Yeah. I think so too. I think
It was
does
a good idea.
I
Mhm.
think so too. And I think for a lot of people, this is probably like a cozy. I mean, it's not cozy like
It's not super
it's not like Morning
challenging.
Glory Milking Farm cozy, but
Yeah.
it's
Nothing ever will be.
It's as cozy as a political fantasy book is gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
right.
There's not a lot of like, I don't know, like Game of Thrones level, like incest intrigue.
Right.
It's very much just like, oh, I thought this thing was one way and it actually isn't. It's the other way.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. And like they keep getting raided, but the raiding, like the raids always like fail immediately. Like every once in a while, like a couple people die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is
Well-
what they do. I mean, this is their life, is just
Yeah.
defending their islands, defending the
Yes.
bridge,
Yes.
breaking the ships.
Yeah, they have no industry. They cannot leave. They're effectively imprisoned by the bridge.
Yeah.
Did they build the bridge? Or was the bridge already there?
I think the gods built it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That maybe when they were there, it was more fantasy.
yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
magic. Somebody built it because that's a big ass architectural feat.
It
Right.
sure is.
Like, that's not something that's
The
like building
aliens.
pyramids.
That feels like something that like someone would have like if you were the person that shipped goods back and forth, you would want them to not build the bridge.
mm-hmm.
So it feels like a really risky thing for them to have built, and it's really long and it's really complicated, and nobody knew how it was built or how to get into it. So there was no spies while they were building it.
So it must be super old.
It must be super old
Yeah. The old rickety bridge.
because otherwise you just sneak spies in there, and
And
then
we were reading this when the Maryland Bridge came down.
I know it did.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
super scary. The scariest part about it was how, like, I think for me, like, it looked, from all the videos, it looked so fragile and like
My God.
small when it fell.
I watched it so many
But
times.
when you're, it's like a 4-lane bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, you're throwing up in your mouth. We just had a watery bowels moment from Hannah.
I'll
having a
tell
hard
y'all,
time.
this is like my number one fear.
Is bridges.
Yeah.
Oh my
is
God.
my car going off a bridge into a body of water.
Yeah.
That is, I spend so much time.
They say that's like hitting a brick wall.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like when the car hits the water. Just so you know.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying. And thank God it happened in the middle of the night, but also their people lost their
People died.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you listen to the police calls, like the police were doing everything they could. And they were like, we need to get the bridge closed. They closed it on one side, but the guy said, I can't get to the other side. The bridge is down. Like it just felt, anyways, it's like one of those moments where like I will remember where I was when I
Yeah.
saw that bridge
So
come
scary.
down. I have a fear of bridges too.
Hate 'em.
Let's just have another moment, and we may have done this before. What is something that you're super scared of? What's yours? Deep water.
Deep water and then man-made objects in the water.
So give us an example.
Like a
Ooh.
pier. I don't like swimming around piers because the wood pier that goes into the water freaks me out. Like,
So
Is it the barnacles?
The Bridge Kingdom is your worst fear?
yeah, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
with
What,
sharks
and
and shit.
yours?
I don't like to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Primates.
Really?
Like monkeys?
Like
Okay,
gorillas?
that's fair.
Like King Kong?
When
When did that start?
At birth.
Mm.
No, like you can ask
I
my mom.
was born this way.
Yeah.
I
What do you
literally-
think it is? Is it their strength?
Yes.
Because they can rip your face
Yes.
off? Yeah. That story of that monkey ripping its owner's face off, and she was the first person to have the face transplant.
Yeah,
Oh.
that
You know
was
that story?
that was a
No.
chimp.
The first person to have a face transplant had her face ripped off by a chimp.
Wow.
Just like, her?
Yeah, and I heard the 911 call.
Did you watch Planet of the Apes then?
No.
Negative?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so
that's a negative.
No, 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 no,
negative.
no.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
What's yours?
Sharp string. Have you heard me say that before?
Yeah.
Sharp string. And in this movie, the 3-Body Problem that just came out on Netflix,
Yeah.
it's the most sharp string moment I've ever seen in my entire. It's like insane. One scientist builds a nanofiber that
Oh.
has like. It is so basically the way that they show you how strong it is they take a diamond, and they use this nanofiber. You can't even see the fibers, and it just like slices the
Ugh.
diamond into like butter.
Yeah.
So that's how it tells you. And then they realize there's, the stakes are super high. So they use this nano fiber
Yeah.
to slice a cargo ship so finely down that like you just see the people's bodies just fall off. And that's what scares me about it. It's when the thought of something so sharp cutting you that you don't know that you're cut. You don't know you're cut. And then your
Yeah.
arm falls off. That image, like, you'll see it with like a katana, like a sharp
Yeah.
sword, but sharp string, like cheese string.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Something about a string that
Yeah.
chops
That
is
makes sense.
horrifying.
Mm.
And it started with the movie Ghost Ship when the cable cut everybody in half.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can see that.
Yeah. And then I was like, this is so specifically my fear. When I was watching the show, I was like, this is exactly what I'm horrified
Oh
of.
my
Yeah.
God. I can't believe you're still watching it.
I mean, I was just like in awe of how well they displayed my fear.
yeah. I can't believe
like,
this.
sharp-
This is exactly it. This,
This
is
is
what
ex-
I'm terrified
this is
of.
what
This is my worst
terrified.
nightmare.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for nailing it.
Yeah.
And now I can show people this is why look at this. Look at the sharp string.
Mhm.
And they don't call it that. That has a fancy
No.
name,
Yeah.
nanofiber.
I'm
but
like,
like that's some
sharp
sharp ass
string.
string right there.
Yeah.
Or like choking somebody. Yeah,
That's
a
what I
rat,
was.
yeah.
That's what I
Or
was
like
going to ask
you
you. Is
choke
it like
somebody
a wire?
so hard. Yeah, a wire where you like choke
Uh-huh.
and then it cuts you. Sharp. Not cool. Anyways, back to Bridge of Terabithia.
All right. So she betrays Aaron, but accidentally because he already sent off one of her pages with all of her invisible ink telling her father how to get into the bridge.
So how can he send a letter and then when she counts it, it's the correct
I don't
number?
know. Did they explain
They
that?
never explain that.
Okay.
Butthole.
She's like, but I counted. There were 26 and that was it. No one ever said, oh, well,
They're
there
like,
were actually.
oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Interesting. Yeah. They
Yeah.
never
It
explained it.
never explains that. So I don't know. But
I feel like that's something you would double check if you're gonna not tell your newly I love you husband that you wrote secret plans to invade his kingdom on the back of.
I would immediately.
I mean, if you're trying to build trust,
I would
Yeah.
say,
like, you
I
have
love
to.
you, Aaron. Now let's go home and burn all those papers because I just wrote a bunch of stuff on
I
them.
thought you were the bad guy.
Yeah. Let's go. Like, come
Like,
on.
we both have
We've
the
gotta
same
fix this.
intentions. We want to save our
I have
people.
not done anything yet, but let's go and take care of this paper issue
Right. Yep.
together.
That hesitancy would have just like saved a lot of lives.
Yeah.
It's fine. I love how he like collects ships from other places. So he's just got like this shipyard of like, what ship do we need? Who
Yeah.
are we trying to pretend
Yeah.
to be? And he's really good. I love the rogueness.
They're
of
kind of pirates.
Oh, they are. I know.
They are kind of.
They're kind of
but
pirates.
you know what I really love about him is that he takes the time to explain. And I don't really know if she did that just for, so we, the reader, can find out what's going on. But it just feels really natural coming from him and his character. He's not like the king says, all right, let's go here. And everyone's like, why? Why can't we do this? And he's like, here's why. Blah, 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 blah. This
Yeah.
person over here. This.
He owes his he owes his people explanations.
He's not
Yeah.
too
and
proud.
he's not right. And he's not commanding, informing so that they can make a decision to follow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's offering them the transparency as like a collective. Like, this is why it's important. I'm going to share with you because I think one of the things that's the hardest in every book about with soldiers, even in the military today, it's the fact that like this little E2 over here has to follow whatever the hell they're saying with no idea of why.
Yeah.
I don't operate like that. If I don't get the fundamentals, if I don't get the purpose, if I don't understand the larger picture, I'm not likely to follow.
Yeah.
And I think that leadership in most books, it's when they have that level, like their trust is being built. I'm rereading Stormlight Archive and I forgot how much I really love that fantasy world. It's so pure. It's so pure. That Mormon piece of it makes
Yeah.
it so like pure. And there's one character who I like to think looks like Cassian. His name is Kaladin.
Mhm.
He's that kind of leader. He kind of like gives people the agency to make a choice. And when you're choosing to follow because you know your leaders, I mean, it just becomes this like
Mhm.
Yeah.
trust.
I think we've read quite a few fantasy books at this point that have a lot of cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, well, we sent our army in and, oh, they're all getting torn to ribbons and mowed down. But luckily, the 6 main characters are all going to be fine. That it's really nice to read one where it's like, oh, everybody matters. Like,
Yeah.
oh, all these people matter. I'm not just
Right.
moving these huge chunks
Yeah,
of
because
groups
we have
around.
Laura actually going out and trying to save lives.
Yeah.
She's helping the
The healers.
healers. I was going to say
Yeah.
Medi-Witch.
It's not
this
it.
book.
Not this one.
It's not it.
Yep.
They're just like, they have Band-Aids and
They do.
luminol, and that's it.
Yeah. And C-sections.
Yeah.
Cesarean sections.
Probably.
And roofies.
Yeah. And melatonin.
Melatonin.
It is probably just like melatonin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she keeps sneaking it into their wine.
Yeah.
She'll just walk up and she's like, let me pour wine
Let me
for
pour
you.
that wine
Like,
for you.
So-
like opens her secret ring.
Yeah, it's a bracelet. It
Yeah.
just- yeah. Yeah, she's, yeah. I mean, there are some.
Yeah,
like,
she
fan-
drugs
Man,
a lot
I've
of
been
people.
sleeping great ever since
I'm
our
real-
queen
so-
got here.
I know.
It just didn't make sense to me that they did not pick up on that.
Yeah, I thought for
was
sure they were
expecting
going
him
to
be like, I
immediately.
know you drugged us. Like I knew you drugged us, but I wanted to see what you were gonna do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because he was really good at knowing exactly what was happening.
Except that.
Except that.
Yeah.
Well, he
Which
does
didn't-
say that much later, doesn't he?
No.
I don't think he ever picked up
No,
on.
because even Anna, like, she drugs Anna so much that she passes out at the table, and everyone's like, "Ha ha, couldn't hold your
But they
wine," and she's
also
like,
said-
"Wow, I only had one glass."
No, but they also said that's really out of character for her.
Yeah.
And
They're
no
like,
one,
oh, that's weird.
these people that have this very like spy mind, like espionage is a part of their world,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and they still didn't pick up on the melatonin drinks,
Yeah. She definitely.
the Rooflin.
Yeah. They definitely
Yeah.
squinted a couple times. That
Mhm.
one, and then the 26 pages. And then he never mentions, like, wow, the cat broke in and destroyed all my papers. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's unlike the cat.
That's unlike the cat at all. Like, how did the cat open the top of my ink bottle and
Why
pour
is
it out?
everyone
And-
acting out of character?
Yeah, and he's blinded by love, which is reasonable, and
Yeah.
that
He
is
not in
why
the
they're
loves
beginning.
her.
that's why they're so
Yeah.
mad at each other.
He's infatuated with her.
Yeah.
He loves her. He's
I get really,
attracted.
Yeah, I get really frustrated. I just get really frustrated that when people are so resistant to their feelings of love and they get mad at themselves and they're
Yeah.
like, this is making me bad. This is making me bad at what I'm doing. I cannot be a person that focuses on anything else if I'm in love. And I'm just like, I hate that as a plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's my real life, so I don't want that in my stories.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want money problems in my books.
Well, I didn't, I wasn't super, like, it was fine. I didn't mind it, but I wasn't, like, jazzed to return to the, like the waist length, blonde, skinny, blue eyed assassin princess.
Yeah, that and yeah.
I was like, oh,
I was a
there
little
she
worried
is.
about that at first, but then I was like, no, she's going to love it because she actually kills people.
Right, I mean, it was fine. Like, it's fine. It's that she's the heroine in, like, everything. I don't know if there's a creator on Instagram who has a joke about it. She's the advisor, and so she's like the advisor trying to get the king to choose the correct chosen one. And she's like, okay, king, now we've talked about it. Like, we're going to go by qualifications and skills.
Yeah.
And he's like, the girl with the braids in the back.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I think those Converses are giving me, like, chosen one chic. Like, I'm just
Yeah. I think I've seen that.
Chosen
yeah.
one.
chosen one chic. And she's like, no, okay. And he's like, oh, come to the forward braids. Come to the forward skinny blonde lady. And she's like, oh, no, she appears to have tripped over somebody else's feet. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. She's knocked herself out. And he's like, yes, this is perfect. Like,
Yeah.
I've chosen the right one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that is so accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
Laura's not clumsy, but she is the skinny. We talk about her breasts a lot, which is fine, but
It's fine.
Which is also kind of unusual for a female written book, like a book written by a woman.
I mean, Aelin is like that.
They don't talk about Aelin's boobs.
No, but she's not a woman of weight. She is like a
Oh, but she's
fit.
like fit. She's fit, proper fit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's an athlete.
Okay.
She's hard.
She's hard. That's the thing they say about Laura. She's not soft and round and curvy and
Right.
feminine.
She has
She's,
muscles.
They're like, why is this bitch cut like
Yeah.
a gladiator? She's
And
like, you got to think
literally
of her
cut
as like
with
a
scars,
like American Gladiator.
Yeah.
She's like, I think she had some testosterone growing up. They were steroiding her.
You think they would have avoided giving her scars knowing she was going to be
Right.
going to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Because she's got a lot of them, like
Right.
sword scars. And they're like, what is that? And she's like,
Does-
I cut myself shaving.
And they all know. Yeah. And they look at her and they go, interesting that your body looks like you've been fighting your whole life. And she's like, I don't know why. I don't know why. We have lots of animals where I live. I love cats.
She's
I was raised
"I
on a
live in the
farm."
desert."
I have a guinea pig with sharp teeth. You know, like, wow, what is that like?
Yeah, they are a little
dagger-sized
incurious.
wound in the back of you, on your back. I don't know. I just
She's been
fell.
stabbed with a machete.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
speared next to your liver?
I was
Yeah.
knitting and
I had a lot of
Fell on my
siblings.
I have
knitting
a lot of
needles.
siblings, and we
I had a lot
played
of
really
siblings.
hard in the menagerie when we were little.
menagerie.
The menagerie.
Yeah.
Does the sister show up in the first book?
Second one.
No, the sister doesn't show up at the end of the first
Yeah.
book.
Oh, does she show up at the very end?
Yeah.
Because it's like immediately after
this
the
is
betrayal.
how
Yeah.
this is how it ends. The
Yeah,
sister,
talk about that.
the one that's supposed
Mary
to
Ellen? Mary Wellen?
Mariella, I think.
Mariella. She's an evil lady.
Yeah, she's the bad
Yeah.
sister. Yeah, Mariella comes to basically do what she was raised to do, which is kill the king.
And Laura.
But she's coming after her sister too. So
She feels betrayed by Laura.
Like Laura's imagining her sisters all wake up,
and know exactly
read
what happened.
the note that's in the pocket, just totally understands everything of why Laura did this, and they all go off and lead happily ever after lives.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen for Mariella. She felt like her life was stolen from her. She was going to be the queen. She was going to kill Aaron. She
was going to have the glory. She was going to fulfill
she was going to take the Bridge Kingdom.
She was going to be a queen. Yeah.
So she went back to her father.
Yep.
And betrayed everybody.
Yep. And then he sent her to go take care of
Laura. Well, Laura disposes of her real quick.
Yeah.
And I
kills her.
appreciated that because
Yeah.
I did not need that to last long. Just like get rid of that situation.
Especially since she killed Eli.
Yeah, just slaughtered a little boy.
That was not cool.
Sweet little boy, just taking care of the house. Crushed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kills her really fast. And then how does he get captured?
He doesn't get captured till the second book, I
Yeah.
don't think. Because after that, she's like, haha, now I'm here to destroy you because
No, I
you're...
think he gets taken at the end of the
No,
first
because
book.
it's during when they're fighting.
They're
Because she
fighting.
hears
They're
about
out
it.
fighting.
She's like drinking at a bar.
Who's
because-
drinking at a bar?
Laura, but if we want
Laura.
to talk about that, we can go ahead and end here and then
Yeah,
start
we
the second
can,
book.
we
Okay.
can start.
Sounds good. It's a good time.
Go
Right?
read the second book.
Go read
and
the
then
second
come
book and come back.
See you, friends.
Bye.
Bye. See you.
Is it hot in here or is it just me? Tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety. Not your average book club, if you know